What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the MM Breakdown. It has been a little while since we've posted. A lot has happened after this MM in-person event where he did the book signing. First off, you may notice that Kavai will not be in this episode. Kavai's taking a little break from the MM Breakdown just to focus on her healing a little bit more. We all understand how the healing journey can be and just taking some time to focus on that. So hopefully we get her back by like the end of the year, maybe even sooner. Believe me, I am begging her so much because I think she's just so great on the MN Breakdown. And honestly, the MN Breakdown wouldn't be the MN Breakdown without her. So, yeah, anyways, I want to keep the podcast going, though. I think it's just so important. And last episode, we had a guest, Audrey Knight. So, we're going to start having more guests because we just thought it was a great flow. And now that Kavai's not here, I think it's really important to have guests on. So this week we have a very special guest. I actually got to meet him for the first time at the MM book signing, and I got to meet a lot of people there for the first time. But I mean, I was very fortunate to meet this person. His name is Christian Larman, and Christian, right here, you want to say hi to everybody?
Hey everyone.
Yeah, so I was fortunate because like when I met him, he had like his guitar and everything like that. So he played me a couple songs, which I mean his voice is beautiful and he also his songs were just so good. So I was just like I need to get this guy on the podcast because this is pretty inspirational. I also want to hear a little bit more about his stories and stuff like that. But if I'm not mistaken, if people want to follow you on Instagram, Christian, that's gonna be like, is it Healing with Christian? Is that correct?
Yeah, it's here with Christian.
Okay, yeah. So, everyone, without further ado, we're going to get into this episode with Christian, and we're just going to take it off really simple, no pressure here. Christian, so how have you been? Tell me about your week. What have you been up to since the book signing event?
Yeah, no, so I've been pretty good. I've been pretty good. Just trying my best to stay focused on my healing and just um after the event it was like there was so much adrenaline and just excitement. And I feel like once I got back home, I was like, I was pooped. So like I was kind of just in like recovery mode, and just trying to like rebuild up my reserves and stay grounded and just but it's been tough being back, but
Bro, I totally hear you on
yeah,
that part of just like the event was so much fun. Like, I mean, you meet so many people that you've only talked to in social media,
yeah,
right? And
exactly.
you're also just gathering with people that are so like-minded. And I've
Yeah,
never like
yeah,
for example, I stayed in an Airbnb with I want to say it was maybe like 9 other people. And to have 9 other people around me to think the same way, need to
yeah,
focus on food, need to eat the same way. I mean, it was amazing. I felt like at home with it. And so having like that experience, you're getting the adrenaline rush with it. Then you get to meet
yeah,
medical medium, and oh, we got
yeah,
to talk
right?
about that a little
Oh, we
bit,
got
which
we
was
gotta
just
talk about that. Yeah.
insane, right? And then
Yeah, yeah,
but then yeah, like I come back home, and like the first week, and the first couple days that I'm home, it just like hits me like damn. Like I just had this great high. Like I was like, man, I'm
right?
on top of the world. Like I see
Yeah.
it so clearly now. And then I'm back home. I'm like, oh damn, like I'm in this shithole. You know, like
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. I'm sure a lot of people feel the same.
yeah, no. And then I also got like symptoms started to come back up again. I got like a couple flare ups and stuff. So that was no fun at all. So I think definitely like how you said, focusing on healing right when you got back. I think that's definitely been one of my key points as well lately.
Yeah, yeah, man, I totally feel you with
So,
that.
but I do want to hit on the MM book signing event because I haven't even spoken about it myself. And so, dude, you get to meet medical medium. Tell me, how was that experience for you?
Oh, I just wanna say, like, I was so grateful to be even like, be able to go to this event because in the beginning, I wasn't sure, right? It's like it's in LA, it's gonna cost a bit, just for the plane tickets and getting there and the food, and I was thinking about the food, how am I gonna get the food? I mean, thousands of people from all over the world are gonna be at this event. right? And
Yeah.
I didn't know if the stores are gonna be stocked. I didn't know, I didn't know, like, if the plotters, right? Like, cause the thing going on with
No, you're
the
so right.
plotters, I didn't know if, there was gonna be
So
protesting or
okay, so were the plotters? Because I never knew this or really, like, dove into the information. Were the plotters trying to stop that event from happening?
I think I think, possibly, but I think Anthony, like, during that time, he specifically planned it. Like, he's
Yeah,
conversing with spirit and, like, it has to be on this date, and he was already putting out information beforehand, exposing them and things, right?
yeah.
Kinda makes them like, "Oh, I don't wanna mess with him," because
Yeah.
he's telling the truth, right? So
Yeah.
it's I think it was, like, perfectly planned, and I think that was just, the doubts of my mind getting in the way.
Mhm.
But once I finally was able to go, and I just, say thank you to, like, to Hannah that was able to help me,
Yeah.
go to this event, like, with the traveling process, because of my cerebral palsy.
Shout out to
Like,
Hannah.
yeah, shout out to Hannah, Fruits, Vegetables, Angels, and
Yeah.
very, very kind of her to help me with that traveling process. And yeah, I just, place to stay. It was just great, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. Everything about it was divine. I mean, where we were staying was like pretty close, like, pretty close to Erewhon. So we were able to get there early, and we waited in line, and then I finally got to meet him. And leading up to the event, I was trying to record, and I was trying to, like, I was just so excited. And I remember praying to the angels, like, angel of knowledge, angel of wisdom, right? This is a special moment.
Yeah.
He doesn't normally, like, go out because of light blindness, and he gets readings. And I'm just like, wow, this is a special moment. I really need to capture this and connect.
Yeah.
And it's meanwhile all the adrenaline and the excitement. So it's like and meeting everybody. So it's like, man, but so the moment I walked up to him, uh like, honestly, it was like I was so excited. It was like a blur. Like, it's like time stopped.
Oh, I
Like,
feel you.
dude, everything slowed down. It's like I was looking at, like, Jesus Christ or something. Just
Yes.
his aura and his energy. He was so grounded and present and aware of each person he was talking to. And even with all the excitement and everything, he was locked in.
Yeah.
And I remember going up to him, and the first thing I say was like, "Thank you for being the best messenger and for working for God." And he says back to me, he's like, "I'm honored you think so." And he's like, yeah,
Oh.
he's like, "I'm honored you think so. And remember, you do too. You do too." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." I've been listening to this guy for the past 5 years, in my
Yeah.
ears, like, when I sleep, like, I know I work for God. And, just to, like, because I wanted to honor him, right?
Yeah.
And he's so selfless and humble, and just like, I really wanted it to be special. And I'm just grateful that I got those words to say to him.
Yeah.
And yeah, I also got it, like, nice pictures and a video of the interaction too, which you can,
Bro.
yeah,
That is so I'm glad that you can, like, remember what was said. Like, for me, all I can remember is I walked up there and, like, literally, like, I just panicked. I never tried to plan out what I was gonna say or anything. I just know that I walked up there, and right when I walked up there, I said, "Thank you, AW," but then as I was saying it, like, in my mind, I was like, "Bro, why the hell are you saying thank you, AW? You could say so many better things. That's the
yeah,
only
right,
thing you have to say, like, come on,
right,
right?" And I just
yeah,
said, like, "Thank you, AW," and then, like, I have no idea what he said, but all I heard was "brother." And I was all like, "Holy shit, this guy just called me brother!" And,
right,
like, I don't know what he said after that, though. He might have said, like, "Brother, like, you're the best, you're number 1." Like, I don't know, probably all that great stuff. But, no idea. All I know is he called me brother, and I was so hyped. That is a memory that's gonna stay with me forever for sure. But that idea of him being so present in, like, time stopping right when you meet him,
yeah,
like, dude, I felt like it was only like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
It felt like an eternity. It was just so insane. I don't think I've had many experiences like that, so that was a very
never.
nice feeling to have there.
Yeah, yeah, like you said it perfectly. I mean, time literally stopped in those 5 seconds.
Yeah.
It's like it's like the presence of probably this presence of SOC we were picking up, like all
Mhm.
the light around him. I imagine he was probably
Yeah.
blind and couldn't see, but yeah, like luckily for in my case, somebody recorded me and it was on a live stream and I was able to get the clip of that interaction and me
Bro, you're
speaking
so
to him.
lucky. You're
Yeah,
so
I'm
lucky.
extremely blessed and it was truly an answer to my prayer.
Did you, like, bring him a gift or anything like that? Or, like, a I brought him a letter.
I thought about it, but like honestly, like I no, I didn't. Like it
No,
was more.
I literally,
Yeah,
all I did, like, when I was on the plane flight, I just was like, "I gotta write this guy a letter, like, I gotta do something," and so I just wrote, like, a letter on the plane flight, like, dude, I was typing this in my messages, right, or in my
yeah,
notes, and, like, tears, like, I was, like, trying to fight the tears, but they were, like, kinda coming out of my eyes, and, like, when they would start coming out of my eyes, like, I would stop writing it because I was like, "Man, this person next to me probably thinks I'm crazy, yo." The person next to me probably thinks I'm going through, like, some breakup right now, and I'm trying to write, like, a breakup message, you know, or, like, to
yeah.
save the relationship, but I was just like, "Man, I don't want this," so, like, I'd start crying a little, and I would stop, take a couple deep breaths, get my composure, start typing again. And it really wasn't that long. It was maybe like half a paragraph or something. But I don't usually write. I don't know when I write. Like I usually get pretty straight to the point. But like, so I don't say too many things. It's just the words that I use. They're really impactful, at least for myself. And so, I think it was just nice telling them thank you in that way because I mean, all I said was "Thank you, AW" when I walked up there. I froze. So, yeah, no, I'm glad that maybe he'll take a look at that letter.
No, I'm sure he will, and he got so many, just so much. There was so much love, like
Yeah.
throughout the whole thing, and I'm sure like he spent all of his time to like read your letter, man. I'm sure of it, and others too.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope he got the chance to
Yeah,
read everybody's. That event was really, really awesome. But speaking of that event, the next day we had the MM Global Meetup, which was like another little event, not MM affiliated, but there was all MM people there. And that's where I met you. That's where I said that I
yeah.
heard you sing and everything like that, which is, I mean, so beautiful once again,
Oh,
bro. Like once you like can record those songs and can put them out, let me know, bro, because I'll be
I
like one of
got you.
the biggest
I got
supporters,
you, man.
man.
Oh,
Amazing. But I
oh.
wanted to ask you, like, okay, how does how did you start singing? Like, where did that like start playing a
Yeah,
role?
yeah. So, I've always loved music since I was, from the womb. My mom always had music playing, like in the house, in the car, and I've always loved music. And I remember as a child, like I would make up songs like in my head, and I had like a little guitar, and like I had like a little like drum pad kind of thing, and I would make beats, just like being a kid playing around. But that's
Yeah.
like what I like to do because I wasn't good at sports, right? Because because of my
Yeah.
circumstance. So I was really a creative kind of kid. And yeah, so like one day when I was like 15, um, my mom, my mom was trying to get me into to stuff because like I was into gaming at this time, and then like she's like, hey, you want to do like music lessons, right? So I started doing that, which it was the drums,
Okay. Yeah.
because I wanted to be cool, and I thought the drums, were cool, and
They
but I
work. They are cool.
yeah, but and Anthony actually plays the drums, which I found out, like which is it's cool, but yeah, but I couldn't really do it because my foot, because my cerebral palsy, so I started guitar, so I wasn't really into singing at this time, but because I was learning guitar and my guitar teacher, which is interesting because he plays a part in my healing story. Um, but so he asked me if I sung, and I told him no. And at the time, like I really hated my voice, and I don't know if like a lot of people probably feel the same when they listen to themselves back, and it's like, oh, I just why do I sound like that, right?
Dude, once I heard myself on the podcast for the first time, I was like, I never want to hear myself on the podcast again. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
like when I have to, I edit the podcast, right? Like I go through and just like try and edit it, and man, the first couple of times, like I just hate my voice. Why am I like this? You know? And so I totally hear you.
Yeah, yeah, and that's for a lot of people. And I told my friend, or at the time, my guitar teacher, I was like, no, I hate my voice. I would hold my ears for happy birthday. I wouldn't sing happy birthday, and it was that bad. Like because I just didn't like the sound because my asthma and my breathing, and it was really hard for me. But he gave me advice that really helped, and I started singing, and I started like I recorded myself, and I like it was this app called Smule, and I don't know if you
Ooh,
guys know what that
I've
is,
heard
but
of that app.
yeah, it's like a music kind of app. You like record yourself and put instruments, and I did like a cover of Ed Sheeran, "Shape of You."
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and it was like the most like simplest, like it was horrible quality, but I remember when I first sang for the first time and actually tried, I was like, I'm pretty good. Like I listened back and I'm like, dang, this is pretty good. Because like I always, since I was young, I would like sing and like just as a smaller child, I would think I was good, right? I had this
Hmm.
gift inside of me. And at this point, 16 is when I really started to discover I had something, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then it grew from there, and like I started recording like, it was around the time I was doing the guitar lessons, and then I taught myself, like after that, I was teaching myself a little bit more guitar and just practicing singing and making my own like little songs on it. And yeah,
Dude, I'm so glad that your music teacher told you something
yeah.
about your voice because your voice is so good.
Oh,
And I mean, I like your voice is actually good. So to think that it wasn't good, like I can't even process that. When I told this story before on like my main Instagram account, not the MM Breakdown account, but I was like promoting my sister also makes music and I was promoting like one of her songs and I told this story about how I was younger. When I was younger, like I would sing all the time. Like I would sing all these church songs and all these songs about like Jesus and stuff. And I just really, really wanted to sound good. I would sing with all my heart and everything, right? And one day I was laying down with one of my sisters and I just turned to her and I was like, look, like I need you to be completely honest with me, okay? Do I sound good when I sing? And she's like maybe like 5. Man, maybe like 6 or 7, I don't know. But she's really young. I'm probably like 10. And she's like, "Okay, yeah, let me listen." So I sing for her real quick and then she just looks at me and she's just like, "David," and like I could tell she's trying to be so nice and she's
yeah.
like, you're just not that good." And I was just like
Oh
like
man.
in that moment my heart just broke forever. And I was like, "Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Just listen one more time, okay?" And then she's like, "Okay." So she listened one more time and she was just like, "Yeah, no, like you're
Wow.
just not that good, David." And so just thinking about that, like I was just like, "Damn, okay, that completely sucks." But then to hear someone who has a gift, to
Yeah.
sing and not to hear like not want to sing, not liking their voice, like it's absolutely mind blowing to me because when I heard you sing for the first time, I was like, this guy's so flipping
Oh,
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
man. I guess, like Anthony says, it's like, darkness tries to take away our gifts, and even with chronic illness too, just, I mean, the fact that I have asthma, I was born with asthma, and like just singing, right? It's
Yeah.
like it's like you when somebody has really pretty bad asthma with breathing problems, and then they're gonna be singing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so it's pretty interesting if you think about it. And I honestly like still today, like I don't think I got the best voice. Like it's unique to me, but um, like it just goes back to my love of music and just like I just find it really fun and like connecting
Honestly,
to my inner child, you know?
I love it. And I wanted to go back to the idea that you also said, like, so you said this music teacher plays a
Yeah.
role in your MM journey with your healing journey. So, okay, your whole life you have cerebral palsy. Like how, so you said as you were younger, you didn't really play sports or anything, you know? So
Mhm.
you were like a gamer, you played music. So how does this kind of fit in into the journey for like your healing journey in MM?
Yeah, so my music teacher was like the first person in my life to really like mentor me and like mold me. I was at that time in my life, I was like 17, right? 16, 17. I
Mhm.
was a junior in high school, like sophomore, junior, right? And he would like try to mentor me, like because he was my music teacher, but there was something there was something divine in our friendship. Like said he wanted to be my friend because he'd seen something in me, and like ultimately, like it just matched up. Like it was definitely a friend given from God, and um, he also like comes from like a really Christian background, like his family raised in the church, and like he led like worship, and like he's a singer and musician like himself, and just a really positive role model for me. So with that and his background, he was also interested in like learning. So he loved all things like self, like he just wanted to be like the best person possible to knowledge, right? And he was into Jay Shetty and Joe Dispenza, but he was also into like medical medium. He knew about it, right? He didn't do it, but he had the books. And at that time in my life, I was like, I remember this was like a few years after our lessons, and we became more of like a brotherhood, right? And he like he bought me my guitar case to where I was able to perform at school with my guitar, and I started performing at school, my high school, to where it was senior year, and I was doing that and just performing in front of like little crowds,
Oh.
and I was getting like everyone was like videoing me, and my head was kind of growing, like I was kind of getting an ego, like
Yeah.
man, I had an ego, and I thought I was like the shit,
Yeah,
in high
yeah,
school, and that's like the first time I ever felt like that because before then I didn't really, I didn't I was just like quiet, and all of a
yeah.
sudden I'm bringing my guitar, like I'm good at something, right? For the
Mhm,
first time,
mhm.
and I'm like expressing my music and my
Yeah.
gift. And man, man, I thought I was like gonna be famous or something like that, Like I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
like that was just the vibe. And like at the same time I was doing so much performing at the school and stuff, and uh like at the same time I started getting really bad coughs. So
Okay.
apparently I caught tracheitis,
Can you
which
explain that a
is
little? Yeah.
yeah, it's some diagnosis, right? Well, it's probably like strep on the like in the throat or something
Okay,
like on the
yeah.
trach. Um, so I remember I was coughing nonstop. It was the day of the talent show, like my senior year, and I was gonna perform an original song, and I was just coughing nonstop, and I ended up doing the talent show, and it was successful, but like this cough lasted even till after like I graduated, like it was just there. And
Yeah.
my friend, which was like, now I can call him like a brother. He's like, hey man, you should check out Medical Medium. And like he's mentioned it before, like, you know, so at this time, I think it's like 2019, and still like a senior or whatever, and like he started planting seeds in my mind around that time. Like he would send me like posts of Medical Medium, right? It's on Instagram, and be like, hey, like check out their healing story, right? And like I would just be like, wow, right? This guy's like a mentor to me, a brother, and I like everything he tells me. I'm like this sponge. Like I'm at that age in my life where I'm ready to,
Sucking it in.
yeah, right. And yeah, so he was planting seeds throughout all of this, and yeah, and it's like I remember the day I turned 18, and I was able to get like disability because my cerebral palsy, and
Mhm.
um I went out and, well, I ordered off Amazon. I ordered the Medical Medium books, and
I
yeah,
went
and I
out
was,
to my laptop.
yeah, yeah, went out to my laptop,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, um, so yeah, I ordered the first book, and I think Liver Rescue was coming out at that time.
Yeah.
I think like 2018, and yeah, like I remember, I remember like telling my grandfather about it, like, "Hey, you should get Liver Rescue," because I'm just like, I'm like seeing these healing stories on Instagram. I'm just like so amazed, right? Like, what is this about? And I'm like, I just, my mind explodes, right? And I remember getting the books, from Amazon, and finally opening them, and as soon as I read the origins of Medical Medium from the first book, and I read Anthony's story, like with his dog and the angel, I still get emotional when I read that.
Yo,
Um,
that story is so powerful. I mean, I just don't even know what to say. Like how you said you get emotional. The feelings that it rises up in me is just insane. Just to even think someone experienced that. And then also just hearing how he didn't want to be this. He always tried to fight it. And then the situation with his dog in the water is what finally he was like, fine, like, let me save him and I'll give my life up to this, basically, you
yeah,
know? Like, it's just insane.
yeah, the great turning point of when he
Damn.
committed his life to this like this like holy grail, like
Yeah.
messenger of God, like
Yeah.
information. Yeah, it's incredible, right? And I felt that at that age, at like 18, and um like, man, I knew at that moment, um like this is something special. Like I have to, I'm definitely gonna look into this. Like at the time, like I didn't go like fully in, right? Because I was like trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and like I was going to college at this time, and learning psychology. Well, that was gonna be my major, because I wanted to help people. Besides music, like I always had this in my heart to help people, and
Yeah.
yeah, I wanted to like go into psychology, understand like cerebral palsy, how the brain works, and um, but like as I was going to college, I would like bring the MM books with me in my backpack. Go
Yeah.
to the college, like the college library, and I would just like read Liver Rescue, and I was like, I'm supposed to be doing my college work, right? And here I am in freaking class with my AirPod, like listening to freaking cancer. I'm in science class and they're talking about like the cells and killer T cells and like genetics. And here I am listening to the cancer radio show in my AirPod, like taking notes. Like I don't even give a
Bro,
shit
you
about
were
what
doing
they're
the
saying.
medical medium college, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where my mindset was, and like I was just doing whatever like life recommends, like, oh, I got to go to college and then I'll graduate, and
Mhm.
but COVID, after that year, COVID came. I'm just like, you know what, and then everything was online, and I'm just like, what, I don't really want to. I don't want to go through with this. I just want to study MM,
Yeah.
and I want to like fully learn this information, and that's what I did.
So, okay, something that I wanna get onto,
Yeah,
before we get into what you did after that,
yeah,
so the one of the big reasons you found MM was because of your cough, and not even, like, because of, like, the cerebral palsy and stuff like that.
yeah,
Like, can you
yeah,
use MM? You can use MM for the cerebral palsy though too, correct?
yeah,
Or
yeah. Brainsaver, his last book he just released
Mhm.
has cerebral palsy in there for a protocol,
Oh, yeah.
which is crazy. It's
Yeah.
mind blowing, right?
So, yeah, dude, no, that is so before that book, was there information on it? Like, did he have it
No,
in No? Okay, so it wasn't until Brainsaver.
yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, man. I was so excited. I mean, before he released the book and he would like, do like teasers of what it was, like
Mhm.
he would go over it, and like he mentioned like, oh, cerebral palsy, like protocol, and I was like, yes, like let's go, like that's awesome. Like the amount of people that can help. I mean, cerebral palsy, it's pretty well known. It's not like not like chronic illness like cerebral palsy. It's like something you could see, right?
Yeah.
Like you
Can
can
you explain a
obviously.
little bit more in detail, like, what it entails?
Yeah. So, okay, cerebral palsy, it's on a spectrum, and there's different
Mhm.
types. So I have spastic diplegia, which in my case, it's from me being born prematurely, and me being born prematurely caused brain damage because I wasn't able to breathe at that stage in my birth.
So
Because I
does toxic heavy metals and stuff like that still play a role in that one or
Yeah,
no?
yeah, it does, it
Mhm.
does, but that's why there's a spectrum of cerebral palsy as well. Depends on how much of the brain was damaged. But toxic heavy metals can also damage the brain. So it's kind of like it's kind of just depends on what your brew of what you have and what the situation is. Because you can have somebody, a child that has a lot of toxic heavy metals, and because of that, it like damages parts of the brain, which causes the cerebral palsy. But in my case, I don't think it was toxic heavy metals. I think it was, just me being premature.
So, okay, here's another thing. You may not know the answer to this, but were you born in or premature because the toxic heavy metals made you be born premature? Or were you just born premature because you were born premature? That
Now
makes
that's a
sense.
good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
what caused the premature birth,
Yeah.
right? Because I came out 3 months early.
3 months?
Yeah,
How big were you?
I was only 2 pounds.
Bro, holy cow.
Two
That is
pounds, 12
so
ounces.
wow, that is so small.
Yeah, man. So just thinking about that in birth and how it's 9 months, and that like
Yeah.
that's the number of completion, right? And it's like I only came out like 6 months, and I think about it, and I'm like man, that just what caused that, right? Because the
Mhm.
body is very intelligent. The
Yeah.
uterus is the fierce protector, right? So it's like what caused that to happen? And I've really thought about it, and just it could be stress, it could be I think it was stress on my mom, because
Mhm.
for the human body to put out a baby to signal, okay, it's time, right? It's out of fight or flight. I don't to protect the baby,
Yeah.
rather than, okay, the birth is done. No, I don't I don't think that's the case.
Mhm.
Um so I think it was like stress on my mom.
Yeah, okay. No, that makes complete sense. So that would explain, or we could at least take a guess, like, the premature birth going on. I mean, I feel like it's all like, there has to be some tie-in thing together, though, with everything, with the toxic because, like, the stress on your mom's system, for example, then she's possibly getting hit with toxic heavy metals, right?
Yeah. Oh, she
Uh
definitely has toxic minerals.
right, and then, like, she's probably eating, like, the no food and stuff. Because 'cause I'm assuming does
Oh,
she do medical medium and stuff
no,
like
she
that?
doesn't. She
Oh,
does
so,
not.
like, like and so it's probably, like, a whole combination of things, which then you would think it's getting passed down to you as well, and if
Mm,
you're getting all your nutrients from your mother and stuff like that, so it's
exactly.
probably like a combination and probably so many other things that we honestly
Oh, yeah, for
I don't
sure.
even viruses, I don't even know, it's just such a complex thing, but I was really wondering that, like, what causes the premature because it's just like one of those things where someone says, "Oh, yeah, I was born prematurely," and, like, you think that's, like, the cause, when you're
Mm,
like, "Okay, well, what was the cause of the premature birth?" You know what I mean?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, there's some people that were born premature and you're totally fine.
Mhm.
Just, yeah, I was a small baby, it was preemie, but it turned out fine. I developed okay. Um, but like, there's some cases like me where I have like mild cerebral palsy, and then there's ones that are even worse. And a lot of the times, like, a long time ago, a lot of the babies ended up dying because they didn't have the technology for it. Um,
S Sorry, the other thing is too, there's just so many questions that I've just been hit
yeah,
with in this
yeah.
moment, but, like, so if you were not born prematurely, let's say, for example, you were, the full 9 months, would that have lessened the possibility of you
Oh,
being
I would
born with
be, yeah,
cerebral palsy? Okay, so
for
if you
sure.
were born later, it's possible you wouldn't even have it at all? Is that
Yeah,
correct?
very possible.
Okay.
Because the reason of the brain damage was because I
Mhm.
wasn't able to breathe because my lungs weren't developed.
When you came out.
Yes.
Wow, okay, so talk to me about that. So I'm assuming that, like, the chances of life were very slim when you were born 2 pounds, 12 ounces, right? 6 months. So how did that whole like, I mean, I don't know, how did that process look? I'm assuming you were told stories, right?
Yeah, I was
Because
told
I don't think you can
stories.
remember it, like
Yeah, well,
yeah,
here's the thing, like, I've asked Angel of Birth
really?
before, and yeah, I've asked Angel of Birth, and there was a lot of love.
Mm.
There was a lot of love involved, and, I'm sure there was angelic support there too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I remember Anthony, like, talking about how angelic that whole process is with birth and babies and delivering the souls, right, to earth. And um, yeah, like, uh, I know there was a lot of love and care, and I know without that, I probably wouldn't have been here. And plus the fact that I was my mom's first, so I was the firstborn. Um, so that plays another part. So like the toxic load, right? So my
Mhm.
mom was younger. Both my parents are younger, and yeah. So yeah, I think if I didn't have that situation, like those predicaments, then I could possibly not be here today.
Wow.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's so how long was the actual process to get you to like a point of, for lack of a better term, but like recovery or like being able to like somewhat function to where like you could breathe by yourself and stuff like that?
Yeah,
Do you
well,
know?
I don't know specifically. Like my
Mhm.
parents, they didn't know I had cerebral palsy until I was 2 years old.
Wow.
They were told it was like just developmental delay, right? I was
Mhm.
their firstborn. They didn't know a whole lot, right? They're new parents, they're young. It's like, what do I do? Like, oh, my child's not crawling, my child's not, doing these things that you know, normal babies his age would do. What's wrong with my child? And when I was 2 years old, that's when they diagnosed me with cerebral palsy.
Wow. Okay. And then just to clarify too, because I mean, I'm not even sure I understand the gravity of like what is entailed by cerebral palsy. So like you said, like it's for like your lower half, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So the part of my brain that was damaged controls motor function. So that's like if you have cerebral palsy, you have motor function problems, right? You have balance
Mhm.
problems, you have stiffness in the body, in the legs, or just the whole body. If there's different types. Um, but for me, it was stiffness, like in my legs, like really bad. Like my feet are supposed to be calm and on the ground, like flat, but my feet were tensed up. My toes could never touch the ground. So like it was really hard for me to move,
Mhm.
and like just really hard for me to move. I had this stiffness in my body that was like it would prevent me from doing a lot. And I couldn't stand up. I would lose my balance easy, fall over. I get like really bad startled. Like I get startled really easily. Like I'll jump. Um, just like the simplest thing, I could know you're coming, and even now, you could be like, "Hey, Christian," like a neighbor will say like, "Hey,"
Mhm.
and I'll jump if I don't know it's coming. Like I'll get really
Wow.
startled, and yeah. So, but when I was 12 years old, I had this surgery. This was before MM, but right because you don't know.
Yeah.
You try whatever it takes to
Yeah,
get
so
better.
what are you so at 12 you said you're gonna have surgery, you're gonna get into that, but before 12, like, what are you doing for this? Or what do
Well,
you do for this?
yeah, I mean, in school they have like physical therapy that you do and like stretch the muscles, and like they have special exercises, but um yeah, but like I was doing that in school, but outside of school, like I didn't really do like therapy as much as
Yeah.
I should. And just resources, and just like just family situation. I didn't really do therapy. Like in my teens, like like I mentioned earlier, I would just play video games. Just be a gamer and just sit down and just
Yeah.
chill, drink my sodas, and you know,
So they
it,
don't give,
yeah.
like, any, medicine or anything for this?
No, no. Well, yeah, but it's not actual medicine. Like
Yeah, yeah, I totally get what you mean. I'm just
yeah,
wondering because it just seems like for every issue and diagnosis, they just give medicine out for anything, you know what I mean? So I was just wondering if there was something like that in this case.
yeah. I mean, there's like other than surgery, they do the CBD oil
Okay, yeah.
and yeah, just things like that. But other than surgery, I mean, I don't think there is anything.
And so then you're saying at 12 is when you had the surgery that you're referring to?
Hmm.
So what is entailed in this surgery?
So it was a spinal surgery. It was a big thing, where the doctor goes in and cuts a nerve, takes out a piece of the spine, and basically what this does is it stops all the spasticity, all the tightness in my body. Which
Wow.
yeah, which now that I'm MM, I don't know what that actually did. I know it.
Yeah.
I know it stopped like the tightness, but what else am I missing that I could possibly like that I could have today? It's like people that get their pancreas or gallbladder taken out. It's
Mhm.
like I needed to have that happen, but like, man, like my liver's friend's gone.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Gosh, that's so at 12, you get the thing and the surgery. And, like, I mean, you're right. I mean, we don't really know, you know, what that is going to do besides, like, stop the stiffness in your body. You don't know the other effects that that really has from that. Uh, that's just crazy to think about. So, okay, did it help at least?
Oh yeah,
Or yeah, okay.
yeah. I mean, I like there was intense physical therapy afterwards, and um, I really improved a lot. Like I retrained a lot of my body and was able to put my feet flat on the floor for their first time. I was able to, sit on the couch like the right way. Like
The
but
right way.
yeah, because like when I would go to the couch, I would like kind of like my muscles would be stiff, and I would kind of like dive. I would dive to get to the couch and like pull myself on from like the front
Mhm.
instead of just going and like turning and sitting. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
Ah,
Um,
it's
yeah,
crazy to think about, like, the little things that we can that people that don't have
yeah,
that issue, like, just take for
I
granted.
couldn't. Yeah, like I couldn't even move my toes, and I wiggled my toes for the first time after the surgery.
So the nerve itself just stopped the stiffness, like, of it? It doesn't stop, like, you feeling in it or anything like that?
Well, here's the thing. Like now it's like I feel the back of my leg, and I'm like I feel like in the area of the spine, I'm like it's kind of numb a little bit. Like there's like
Oh,
a numbness.
wow.
Yeah.
No, because I think I remember telling you this too, that, I had gotten a surgery on my elbow, and in that surgery, they cut a nerve, like, on my wrist right here. Like, they took a ligament from my forearm and put it in my elbow, but in the process, they cut, like, a nerve in here, and so I lost the feeling in these 3 fingers, and, because of that, the, like, it's just pretty much numb in them, like,
Mhm.
the whole time, and I can't really feel anything. So that's why I'm wondering, like, with your nerve, it was just the stiffness, but it sounds like it was a little bit more than that.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a little bit more. And now that I'm MM, it's just like, well, if I didn't have the surgery, would I still like be where I'm at, like with MM, or like would I still be stiff? I don't know.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. Like, when you had this surgery, though, like, at 12, did you notice right away the night and day difference in terms of, like, the
Oh yeah,
stiffness?
oh
Yeah?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Right away, it was like a teardropper kind of moment. It was like the holy grail, like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is like the answer.
Okay, so 17, you learn about MM. 18, 19 is, like, when you actually start doing more of the protocols and stuff like that. What does your journey look like in terms of, okay, 17, you kinda hear of it, but what makes you actually, like, start actually researching, looking into it, and then what makes you take that jump to start doing the protocols, and then what does that even look like in the beginning for you? Like, doing the protocols, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I originally, uh, it just was that time in my life when I was gradually like getting more into it. And I think COVID, right? Because COVID came and it was like everyone was at home. It really gave me that motivation and that space to like learn, to like go in depth. Um, because I didn't really want to do college online. Um, right? For what major I was going for. It's like I'd rather learn MFO. I'm not gonna be a
Yeah.
psychologist. Like I want to learn about the brain, and it's like here we have these books, this information that has every single answer to these, diseases and these problems. These diseases I was learning in psychology class, and they had no answers. Oh, genetic and uh, nature versus nurture, and their condition, and
Yeah.
it's like these factors, and it's like all just like blah 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 blah. It's not it's not true. So when I got into the MMFO and I started reading more and learning about the body, learning about these true symptoms and conditions, I was like, man, I just want to learn everything. I got to the point where I was listening to the radio shows. I was going to sleep while listening to them. And I'd wake up and Anthony would be talking about leafy greens, you know?
That's a good place to be right there.
Yeah. Yeah, right? And I just completely absorbed the information. Like Anthony says, take advantage of me. Be a sponge with this information. And I'm like, you know what, Anthony? I will. I'm
Yeah.
taking the golden ticket. I'm entering your Willy Wonka, shot, factory, right? I'm taking that golden ticket, and I'm gonna, you know, I want to learn all of it because I really want to help people, and that's that's what I did. So
So what is okay, and so you start taking, and that's like at 18, 19, you're saying. So before that,
yeah,
17, you just heard of it from a friend. What made you finally even pick up the book in the first place?
what picked up well is the fact that I was able to have my own money.
Oh, okay, I do recall that. Okay, so just you being able to have your own money, you were like, "What should I do with this money now? I have this," and then you're like, "Let me open up Amazon and order
Yeah,
these bad boys."
yeah, and before I actually was able to buy the books, I convinced my grandfather to get Liver Rescue. Um, because it just had came out that year, and my grandfather had diabetes and still has. Um, the information didn't like stick with him.
Click with him,
It
yeah.
it wasn't about it, but he gave me the book, so I he got to have his liver rescue book before I was able to buy my own books.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I started with the first book and started reading that. But before the books, I started listening to the radio shows, I believe.
Oh, wow, okay,
So
okay.
like yeah, and just like I said, that those seeds that my friend planted in me, it really sparked that interest. And I remember I was also heavier, had more weight on me, and I had acting as well. And I I always wanted to look better. I
Mhm.
always wanted to be fit ever since I was young, just because of the cerebral palsy and not being able to do basic human things. I always wanted to be strong and fit. And for me, knowing that all I have to do is eat fruits and vegetables and just all I got to do is eat this stuff. That's it. That's all I have to do is learn this info and just eat. That's all I got to do. And I'm gonna lose the weight. I'm gonna lose my acne. That's all I have to do. So for me, it was like, oh man, this is like so easy.
Yeah.
All I got to do is drink celery juice, right? And then that's like my mindset in the beginning before I learned like in depth and like the key factors, right? Just of the body and healing and like what we need. But my mindset in the beginning, man, was just I just that was the best time of my life is when I found medical medium.
Yeah, oh, bro, you bring up such a good point with just the like, that's what you need to do, you just need to eat.
Yeah,
You just need to eat the food, and I think this was, like, the when I finally realized, like, "Hey, this is, like, the truth right here, and, like, I need to do this." Like, it was kinda like a breaking for me in terms of because everything else in terms of, like, healing and doing what was, for lack of a better term, but, like, right for me, always was really tough. Like you have all these different diets out here, you're starving yourself, you're fasting. I mean, you're doing all these different things, you're hurting your adrenals, you're running on adrenaline, and it's like they weren't easy things. You always have to like it always like in my mind, I always had to be suffering in some capacity for me to be considered healing, which I mean, it's the most messed up idea possible, totally opposite of what it should have been, you know? And so coming into the medical medium world, and actually before I got into the medical medium world like super hardcore, I uh I was actually studying with these monks. And one of the big things for the monks was like food. And they were just like, this is what like we need to eat this food in this specific way and we need to make sure it's blessed. And if you're eating like that was one of their big main three things. Like it was chanting, saying the name of God, and it was like eating the food. Like if you're eating the food, you're healing. Like if you're putting attention on the food and eating as much as you can, you're healing. And so like when I was with them for a little bit of time, that like a mindset like grew on me. And then when I started to look at more of what they were eating, and they were like eating like gluten and dairy and stuff, and I was just like, well, this food isn't going to help me heal, so I need to stop this. and I started doing medical medium, but because I was like had that mindset of like, "Oh, I just need to eat this food and it's gonna help me heal." Like I transitioned that mindset into medical medium and it was just the same thing. Like I just need to eat this food and I'm going to heal. And it's just like it doesn't make sense to people who aren't in the medical medium community, who've never experienced like, hey, this is like a like the healing is gentle on your body. It's like being kind. It's making sure you feel good, that you have everything that you need, which is just like it's unheard of nowadays, you know?
Yeah, you're so right. You're so right. To heal, it's easy. Well, it to an extent
Yes, yeah.
of just, the idea of just eating, right?
Mhm,
But
mhm.
but like you said, like people that aren't like you would think it would click with other people. You would think it would do something to their mind or their consciousness, but no, I think the idea of where it comes from, the information where it comes from, and medical medium. And I've experienced that when trying to share the information. I would share it at the college, share it with my family. I would share it with just high school at the time, right? I would share, and you would think they would like be like, oh man, I want to try that, but the fact of where it comes from and medical medium, they they resort to the guy. They're like, "Oh, this guy, I don't know about this guy. This guy's trying to sell you his books." Funny story, in high school before college, I had this teacher that had fibromyalgia, and she would come into the class. She was an assistant teacher, but she would come into the class and work with the kids, and sometimes she could even work with the kids. She would sit at the desk and put her head down and just like slouch on the desk, and she would like just in agony and pain, just like, "Oh," and she would be, like, angry at the kids, like, "Can you, like, please be quiet? Like, I have pain," and I remember,
Oh
like,
my
kids asking
gosh.
her, like, "What's wrong?" And she would be like, "I have fibromyalgia," and it's, like, the worst pain, right? And I remember that, and I told her, I'm like, "Hey, you should check out medical medium," because my friend, like I said, during that
Yeah.
time, my friend was planting seeds in my head. And I'm like, you should really check out medical medium. So she had her little computer laptop and she pulled it up on the desk right in front of me. I was right next to her. She typed in medical medium, seen the Google with the books. And as soon as she seen his face and the books, she's like, see, this guy is trying to sell you his books. He's trying to scam you. Right? Me being like a young kid, the adult has the authority. Oh, listen to me, right? I'm a teacher. Right? This guy's trying to scam you, trying to take your money. And I'm like, I knew in my mind, I'm like, I didn't say that to her, but I was like, I was like, dang, like, come on, like,
I was ready for something super good, and it was, "Dang, you got me."
yeah, yeah, just like there's nothing I could say to her, right? I was just like, oh, okay, like I can't force. Yeah, I can never do that to people, and I learned at that time that you have to really be careful what you say because people will get defensive and their demons will come out, man, and they'll take it personally. When all I'm trying to do is help because
Yeah.
I care and I know it's true and like and then like I try to like nowadays like I use like pictures of what I used to look like and like I use my cerebral palsy like oh I'm walking now and I used to be on crutches 5 years ago. And, it's more like, "Oh, wow, like, that's incredible,"
Yeah.
right? So it, like, gives them a little bit of something to grab onto instead of just like, "Check out this guy." you know.
Yeah, and you don't have anything to really, like, show in your own life to show, like, it's working.
Exactly.
'Cause
Exactly.
I and I think it's, like it definitely does play a role in terms of, like, you think about that teacher, right? I mean, she's probably had this pain, well, for a long time in her life at least, and, she's probably been told a lot of things, like, "This will help it, this will heal it," and it's probably just never like, it's obviously not gonna work if it's not medical medium, you know what I mean? And so she's probably been, like, had all this hope in different products and different things of what people were saying, and, like, her heart just kept being broken, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And then, like, you
Broken
kinda just
trust.
exactly, and then you get to the
Yeah.
point I know medical medium talked about it in Brainsaver, and a lot of the time it's just like, you know, you get this broken trust, and it's hard to like, then when you finally do have the truth, like, some people just aren't able to see that or even be willing
Yeah.
to look at it because of just the broken trust and all the other propaganda,
Yeah.
out there that people
Yeah.
are preaching and they've gotten hurt by,
All the
you know?
guessing games out there.
Dude,
The musical
those damn
chairs,
guessing games.
right?
Yeah, dude, you're 100% right.
Musical
It's really
chairs.
sad.
It
It's
really
really
is
sad.
sad.
'Cause I mean, I've also been there myself. It's so I mean, I get it, and, you know, people are very just, you know, they gotta believe it to see it. That's the type of world it is. It's sad, but that's
Exactly.
just how it
Yeah.
is, and it's so hard to like, I say this all the time, but, like, unless I had gotten to the point where I did, where it was rock bottom, like, I probably would have never bought into medical medium like I did. You know, and that sucks to say, but it's the truth.
Reality. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel you. And it's like, I think it's the fact that it comes from one source and that everything about this is the truth, right?
Mhm,
Because
mhm,
even the person that told me about medical medium, right? My good friend, he doesn't do medical medium. He thinks it's kind of like a cult. He recommends it to people if they're sick and struggling, but he thinks it's like, kind of like a cult mentality. And I understand that. He comes from very religious, just lifestyle, and maybe he has some, yeah, misunderstood, like not being heard as a child, and like in that realm, right? And
mhm,
so it's like, oh, medical medium, this is the answer, this is the truth. It's to him, it's similar to like, his religion or whatever, right? So it's like you said, it's just really hard when people have that like broken trust and those wounds and that struggle of trying to follow something and have that hope, and then they're let down, and then to have an answer right in front of you, the actual truth. It's like, oh, I don't know. And Anthony William, like this guy, man, he looks funny. Like, I don't know, this guy, like I just,
he
you
looks
know,
funny.
I mean, people say that, like you said,
Yeah,
like you got to see it to believe it kind of world. People
mhm,
people based off of looks, how you look. Oh,
you're
you're
right.
sick, but you look fine, right? Like that's what
Yeah,
they say. Oh, you look great, but meanwhile, I got freaking, fatigue, and I feel like absolute dog shit. It's really sad how the world is, and I think us knowing the information, or this is how I feel. Me knowing the information, uh, I could lead the way, and I could influence people by just me being right. Anthony talks about that in the books. Like we become the light, we become the way for people to follow because chronic illness is only going to rise in the coming future, right? So we're paving the way. This is a new, like this is the rebirth, and more people. I really have faith that more people are going to find it. Like we were talking about earlier in the podcast, Anthony with Erwan and the heavy metal detox smoothie, right? It's on the menu there, and that's like one of the most popular like grocery food, like
mhm,
places. Like celebrities go there. Like it's trendy, right? And the fact that they have the HMDS heavy metal detox smoothie there that saves so many lives. It's got the record of just bringing people from the depths of hell to like the light. The fact that it's there and it's like in front of people's faces and in their consciousness, that's such a huge deal. And it's like that's such like oh, it's such a great point in history to have that because it gives me so much faith that it's only gonna get better with people getting the answers, getting the truth, and the mission, it's gonna be fulfilled. Like, I have so much faith in that.
Gosh, bro, I love hearing you talk about, like, your inspiration and, like, you can feel the hope that is coming out of you when you talk about it. It's just really inspiring, to be honest. I'm still like, I don't know, like I feel that way, but I also like it's just tough because like I also don't know, you know, there's just so much darkness and stuff, and all I think about, like, I just try to keep it as simple as possible. And maybe it's like a protective mechanism that I do for myself so that like I don't get hurt in terms
Yeah.
of like having all this hope and faith, like
Like,
thinking
try
of
not to have expectations, yeah.
yeah, because, like,
I
I'm just
get
so
you.
so scared of
Yeah,
being hurt, and I just think of it on the little scale of just, like, you know what? All I can do is do my part, keep doing what I can, help the
exactly,
people that I can that are open to it, you know?
exactly.
If I just help someone eat an apple that day, I mean, that's a success,
Yeah.
you know? And so it's just, like, the littlest things and go with that, and that's, like, how I view it, and I just like, I don't even like focusing on the big picture because I think it's, like, I don't know, maybe it's just scary and maybe it's something I should look at a little bit more, but just hearing your inspiration and, like, your hope on the situation, I mean, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, well, it's the faith, you know, the
Yeah,
torch, like, leading the way. It's like, I like you said, like, we don't have control over the world and what is going to happen. We have no control at all. That's, like, where our peace lies, but just the fact that that's available for people, and it's
yeah,
in that setting where it's popular, right? A popular place, and they can provide that. That's such a that's like a golden ticket for people to find the actual information, you know.
yeah, dude, no, you're 100% right. You're 100%
Even
right. That's
even if they don't do it all the way, and let's say they just want to heal, oh, they have um acid reflux or something, but
yeah,
most people, they have way more than that. But just acid reflux, and they want to heal from that, and so they do, I don't know, HMDS and like celery juice, let's say, and they heal. Like, that's what it's all about. You know, you don't got to go the full, like, lifestyle, and
yeah,
but that them just doing those two things can be enough for them to share their information to somebody who's really suffering, and they could change your whole life around.
bro, you're speaking facts right now. You're speaking facts.
It's the wild blueberry juice, man. The motivational speaker, man. Hey.
Speaking of the wild blueberry juice, I wanted to ask, um, what are your protocols looking like now? Oh, so, like, okay, when you first started to now, how did the journey start? Because obviously, I don't even know, like, what are some of the things that you avoid? Like, or do you do the no foods? Like, how did it
Yeah.
transition over time for you from the beginning to where you're at now?
Yeah, so in the beginning, right, I was doing, like, the celery juice, the lemon water, but, like, it was a really gradual process to get off the no foods entirely. It took dude, it's so difficult because it's such a new thing, and it's gotta grow roots, right, into who I am, and I gotta so I was, like, still doing, like, the citric acid. I didn't know. I'd go to the store, get hummus, and, like, I was eating the veggie chips, and I
Getting your
was
daily veggies.
yeah, daily veggie chips, and I was, probably eating canola oil, and, uh, just what I thought was healthy and okay, but I was still doing, like, lemon water and celery juice, and I would eat bowls of wild blueberries with honey on it, things like that, and, like, it was kind of like, I really say it was divine because I always had that seed in me to, like, eat, like, super good, right? And, like, I was talking about just the fact that we just gotta eat these foods, right? But getting off the no foods is the hard part, you know?
Yeah.
So I was still, like, eating some bad stuff, like, going to the college, like, my mom would ask me, "Hey, do you want, like, a, fried chicken sandwich?" Get some, barbecue sauce, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, like, that sounds good." But, like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, "Oh, I gotta do extra lemon water tomorrow," you know?
Yeah.
Now I know I cleanse all that vinegar and freaking, eggs from
Yeah.
the fried batter and
You got the
yeah,
gluten from the bread, you're getting it
yeah.
all.
Yeah, I mean, I was still, like, eating, like, Taco Bell, in my like, I thought it was, like, vegetarian, like, spicy potato soft taco.
I mean,
Yeah.
bro, I mean, I hate to say this, but Taco Bell is so slept on. It was so good back in the day.
Oh, man, it was. That's my favorite place, man. Oh,
Dude, in college, I just remember somehow my roommates and I would always end up at Taco Bell. It
man.
was just the spot.
Yeah, the spot for real. But, yeah, I mean, I was still like, these things that it was hard for me to let go, right? Because I was so used to doing it, so used to eating a certain way. Like, I was eating, like sometimes, like, I liked fish, right? I love, like, tuna and, like, I grew up eating, like, fresh fish because I'm in Florida, right? So, like, that I was still, like, eating fish, at times, and I was still eating the gluten, right? Like bread, like breadsticks or something, right?
Mhm.
And, it really took, it took, like, 2 to 3 years for me to finally be off all the new foods. And, I remember thinking to myself, "Wow, I'm finally off the new foods." And I was, like, completely strict.
Was there like a moment where like, okay, this is the last no food that I'm ever gonna eat, and then the next
Yeah,
day, like you didn't eat it? Like you
yeah,
remember that day?
yeah, yeah.
What was it?
I think okay, it was definitely fish for sure. It was either, like, a type of it was either a tuna fish sandwich.
Damn, I was not expecting that one. That one was a
Yeah,
curveball.
yeah, yeah. But I don't know, it was either that or, a fish I went to Thanksgiving, and that's another thing, going for family outings. Oh, it's so hard, and they, would make me stuff. I would tell them, "Oh, I eat a special way," and then meanwhile, they surprise me, "Oh, we got fish for you, we cooked it for you," It's all wrapped in freaking tin foil, and I'm like, "Oh my god," you know? I made you some sweet potatoes. Oh, it's
Yeah.
wrapped in tin foil. Oh, right?
Such a nightmare, but I hear you.
And I ate the fish because I felt bad. They
Mhm.
cooked different. I'm like, I have to eat it. Come on, it's a little
Mhm.
piece of fish. But I ate it. I could feel the adrenaline,
Mm.
feel it rushing through my body. I'm like, no, I can't. Can't do that again.
Yeah,
No.
that
But
was
yeah,
the moment.
yeah. I think that was the last moment. Angel of time, maybe you can help me. You know, let me go back.
Dude, that's wild. So then now, so no foods or anything like that. You're pretty
Yeah,
strict with
yeah,
with what you eat.
yeah. Like I'll shut somebody completely down. They at me. Like I'm like, don't
Yeah,
I'm strong rooted, man. I cannot go back.
bro, I'm the same way. Like even if I go visit my family, I mean, I my family lives in California. I live in Missouri, so like when I go visit them, it's usually because they want me to, and usually I try to fight them as much as I can. Like I don't really like going to go visit. Like doing the trip, like I literally didn't want to because like damn, I have to travel, but I was like I have to see him. Like I have to
Yeah,
go. Like you know what I
yeah,
mean? So then I went, but for the most part, like I don't enjoy traveling that much because of all the work that I have to do to like, make sure I'm getting everything that I need. And so like when I go see my family, I make it really clear like, look, when we get there, like when I get there, I need to go to the grocery store. Like I need to get X, Y, and Z. I need to make sure I'm steaming potatoes. Like I need to have my juicer there. Like there are certain things I need to make sure that they're always in place. And like now they kind of know. And we went to we went to my grandma's for like Christmas, and I told them like I'm not gonna eat it. Like I just told my grandma like I'm just gonna steam potatoes and I have some veggies here. And she's like, okay, Mijo, like do what you want, and just super happy with it. But like just being super hardcore to the point of just like, no, like I gotta do what I gotta do. It's really important.
yeah. It is, and it's critical to have that boundary with them. Be like, no, this is for my health. I need
Mhm.
this. I cannot go without it. It's critical. It's like this is my religion, right? Right.
Dude,
People don't question like somebody has a religious practice, like, respect that, right? This is like medical medium is like religiously I do it. So I need what I need to heal.
oh, you're so right, and I used to have that mindset that everybody has pretty much nowadays. That's not medical medium. The idea of just like, oh yeah, like I could just do this in moderation, and it's okay if I don't have this protocol today, and tomorrow I could do some cacao, or I could do, eat some of this, even though it's not gonna be the greatest for me, eat a no food, and like I just kept getting more sick, and like I wasn't feeling good, and it's just like that mindset is just the killer of of you, you know what I mean? And so now it's just at the point where I realize that, and it's just like, no, like, and some people that don't understand my mindset and have that mindset think I'm just going too hardcore or that I'm too strict, and
Yeah,
it's just like, no, like you guys just don't understand.
yeah, my family too. Like right before I was going to the event, told them, hey, I'm going to LA, meeting the author, the books I read, going to get a book signing, right? And everyone there, they eat like me, and I remember my mom saying, nobody eats like you, like nobody's as strict as you. You go so extreme. And I'm like I thought to myself, Mom, you have no idea. You have no
Yeah.
idea. You have no idea. Like honestly, like there's like I could be doing way more, right? If I had the resources and environment. Like, man, there's some people they go like I'm inspired, right? And like they have that. But yeah, I was telling my mom, you have no idea like what this actually is. And that's okay, you know.
Yeah.
It's okay that she doesn't know. 'Cause it's not for her right now, maybe in the future, praying, you know.
Hey, bro, just your influence of just continuing to do it, like that's gonna
Yeah.
just like
Oh,
Anthony says, like just be, like like literally, if you could just be you and just do what you're doing, like dude, that
exactly.
enough is gonna like
Exactly.
inspire you, right?
Yeah.
Inspire
And
others.
yeah, I mean, one day they're gonna, their symptoms are gonna come. It's gonna hit them, right? Like Anthony says, everyone gets sick in the end. And I have this mentality of, when they're at that point, like I'll be there, open
Hmm.
arms, hey, let's get some celery juice, let's get that lemon
Yeah,
water, let's flush the liver, let's get some melon in you, right?
yeah.
Let's. I'll just, mom, like I'll just steam you potatoes if you want. If you want, hey, put some avocado on
Damn,
there,
yeah.
right? I'll make you a
No,
big guacamole, man. Like,
bro. If my symptoms ever got bad again, I hope I'm next to you.
yeah. Yeah. I planted like I love gardening and stuff, so I planted like, fruit trees just for them for one day, like, if they ever want to heal and like change their lifestyle and they have fruit trees.
Dude, that's
We,
so awesome. What did you plant for them?
yeah, so I planted a lemon tree, right? Hydrochloric acid to build, right? To cleanse,
Yeah.
right? There's that. And then I planted seedlings of avocados. Because that's like I thought like, oh, I don't know about avocados, but then I realized like that's probably the best fruit for them, right?
Mhm.
Right? They need that fat to
Yeah, yeah.
transition.
Uh-huh.
So I got a few avocado seedlings, and I could graft them
Gosh,
up. Like I'm all into that.
that's beautiful. How long have you been gardening for?
Uh, since 2020.
Damn, so right when you start getting into MM?
Yeah, because that's like I'm eating all these foods, dude. Like I'm eating all these foods that come from the earth. I want to know like how they grow them. Like have more appreciation and just the act of gardening, how it's like so angelic and it's one of the most healing things you could do is gardening
Yeah.
and grounding, how grounding it is to disconnect from the adrenaline of the world and connect with the food that's growing for you. how powerful that is, and I just love that idea, and I just want like, I was getting disability, it's like during COVID, I'm like, "Man, I wanna start a garden. I wanna try this, like, I wanna learn," and, I really love it.
What are you growing right now?
What am I growing right now? So what's been on my mind recently, which I'm very excited about, my banana tree fruited flowered for the first time. I got it 3 years ago,
Let's
and
go.
it's just now flowering. So I'm gonna be
Dude,
getting fruits, yeah.
let's go. That's awesome.
Yeah. Ice cream bananas, what the variety is. Blue
The I
Java ice cream banana, yeah.
Oh, bro, that sounds so awesome. I'm
It's like
so
it's got a very creamy texture. It's different than the store-bought banana. It's like actual, like, ice cream, like, consistency.
damn, bro. I gotta go down there when they finally come out. I gotta get one of these.
Yeah, bro. Gotcha, man. Nah, but, like, I'm very excited for it, man. I don't even know how much it's gonna produce, like, it's a totally new experience for me, so, I mean, whenever something fruits, it's like, it's like you see an
Yeah.
angel,
How
like,
did you
"Whoa."
how did you learn this?
Just YouTube, and I joined a bunch of Facebook gardening groups, and I live in Florida. Like, I'm blessed to be in where I am because I could grow things all throughout the year. I don't have a frost.
Yeah.
So I learned through online, like YouTube, Instagram, just searching like like how to grow things like in depth and about certain things. And I really love it.
Dude, that is so awesome. That's one thing that, like, I hope to get into at some point in my life, especially because I have a huge backyard, and there was a garden at one point that is no longer existing. And so, like, yeah, no, it would just be so cool to be able to pick up on that, talent or skill, I guess you could say.
Yeah. And for me, honestly, it's hard for me to do it because of my cerebral palsy. And I wish like it would be so much better if like, because the soil bags are heavy, man. Like
Mhm.
it's a lot of hard work, the garden, and it's very time consuming and it's a lot of work and you learn a lot of wisdom and it really teaches you like to be grateful for, just you go to the store, you buy all these potatoes, you buy all these bananas, like the process of actually getting them and farming them, how like the system that's set up, it's for me it helps me, connect with the food more.
Dude, that's so freaking awesome. Okay, so, okay, before I forget, because I wanna get back on to, a little bit more about your journey too. Uh, so you're doing the no foods and everything, so you're pretty hardcore at this point, it sounds like. What is it looking like for you, and just how have your symptoms healed? Like, how is your cerebral palsy like before versus like now since you've been doing MM? And then just the other symptoms that you had or
Yeah,
had.
so the first year I started losing weight. Now, I used to be chubby, and like since I was like 10 years old, I just was chubbier, and I didn't feel like myself. I was insecure about the way I looked. I had acne, right? The lymphatic system, the sluggish liver, right? So like I was just kind of like always upset about that. I didn't like the way I looked, and I was like, I didn't think I would ever lose the weight. I mean, I tried, keto with my mom. I tried, um, the different modalities, right? But nothing ever worked. Sometimes I would like starve myself. Um, but with medical medium, I would lose this weight. It would be dropping, and I would look in the mirror, and oh my gosh, like I'm losing weight. I'm looking better. And that's when it like really clicked when I started losing weight. I'm like, man, gotta go all the way. And then like I noticed like my legs started to look different. I was able to move more, right? Because of cerebral palsy. My legs would like rub together and it would like just be horrible. Even going to the bathroom, like I and that's another thing because of cerebral palsy. Like going to the bathroom, I always had constipation problems because it's stiff
Yeah.
muscles. Like I was always bloated and constipated. It would be like 6 days without me going to, bowel movement for 6 days. I would hold it.
Wow.
Yeah, and I would have like bathroom issues. I would, it was really tough for me. And it was a problem of wiping because the muscles, like I couldn't really wipe that well. And I was like, I was like smelly,
Yeah,
you
dude,
know.
that's rough.
Yeah, it was really bad. And like the clothes I wore, they had to be baggier. Like I always wore baggy clothes. And like I would sweat. Like I said, I had acne and just I was just really insecure. And I remember like even in class, like like I didn't want people to know that I like smelt or like if I was sweaty or I just smelled like shit because like it was hard for me to wipe and stuff. And like but because of me doing medical medium, I lost the weight and I was able to poop like an average person, or just like right when I started MM, I started pooping all the time. And I was cleansing out so much. It was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
like just where'd that come from? Just 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 this
Yeah.
huge
Yeah.
like poop. I was like, oh my god, this stuff is working.
Bro, dude, no, I totally it just reminds me of this story. I just was talking to my grandma recently, and she was telling me the story of when I was a little kid and I was getting potty trained. And I was like, out of all the cousins, I was the one who fought getting potty trained. Like I did not want to poop in the toilet. And she was telling me there was this one day where she gave all the little cousins who went to the bathroom in the toilet like an M&M, and she had looked at me and she was all like, "Okay, David, like, do you want an M&M?" And M? And I was all like, "Yeah." And then she was just like, "Okay, well, you gotta poop in the toilet." And so then like, and it wasn't in the toilet. It's just like the thing that sits on the toilet, like for like a little kid, you know what I mean? But it doesn't
Mhm.
actually
Yeah.
go in the toilet. And so I guess I sat on it, and she said that she wouldn't even look at me because I would get so nervous. And so she looked the other way, and like I just sat there, right? And then all of a sudden she said she just hears like a little like boop, and like I jump up off the toilet, and I'm like, Vada, Vada, like look, look, look. And I don't know how I'm talking. I'm like two, so I'm obviously not saying all these words, but like, look. And she like looks and she's like, good job, like oh my gosh. And I was so excited, right? And like it didn't even wipe my butt or anything like that. And so like I guess my dad had finally like come home, and he like, and I guess I could hear him. And so like I just ran out of the bathroom like butt naked with like poop on my butt. And like to tell my dad like I pooped in the toilet. And so like just like hearing this story though of like holy crap, like this poop just came out of me. It just reminded me of that story of like when I pooped for the first time in the toilet, man.
uh,
Oh man, bro. Yeah. Sorry to
yeah.
interrupt you though, bro,
No,
but
no, that's
please
a great
continue.
story.
Yeah.
Keeping it lighthearted, yeah. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm sure we all can relate. Like when you
Mhm.
start that initial cleansing, like man, the floodgates are just open. Like,
Yeah.
the dam breaks and the liver just like activates right away.
Mhm.
And it's like I was cleansing and I was like pooping more and that like, I was cleansing and like I was losing the weight. I could sit on the toilet easier. Like I wasn't like all crunched up, right? Because I was
Yeah.
like overweight, right? Get in the shower easier. The shower is hard
Yeah.
because I couldn't. I was heavier and like just moving my leg and like trying to get in there was like really hard. And then once I lost the weight, man, I could get in the shower easier. I could sit down like in the bath, like I couldn't do that before. I couldn't like sit down, like because like just the way my legs were and
Mhm.
just the weight, you know, I just couldn't do that. I had to hold on to the handicap bar and
Gosh.
shower like that. But yeah, so that and like because I lost the weight, it was also easier on my legs to walk. I was walking easier. Um, I was quicker. I had more energy. I had like this. I remember like the first year or two, I was starting losing all the weight, and like I had this confidence come back. Like there's a confidence, you know. There's a confidence. Like man, I was like, it was the best time of my life, man. Like confidence came back, and I was like healthy, and I was eating all these foods that had life in them, and like my walking improved so much. Like I used to trip and I used to fall. Like I used to lose my balance. But now when I trip, I catch myself because my feet move quicker. My legs move quicker. I don't get startled as easy. I used to like fall back when I got scared. Now it's like I get startled. I don't fall. Like I brace myself, right? And there's so much more. I mean, 5 years ago in high school, I was walking with forearm crutches. That's one of the biggest things. Um, I remember one day, like I've I forgot them at the house. Like they were like right by the door, and normally I grab them, but it was like consciously and like I guess spiritually because I was getting all these foods in me. Right, it was empowering me. The wild blueberry, taking them in every day. Right,
Yeah.
wasn't doing the HMDS at this time, but because I couldn't afford the supplements, but I was doing wild blueberries and apples. Or like smoothie with wild blueberries, bananas, you know, orange and cilantro with honey. You know, just that.
Yeah.
And like it was really doing something spiritually to where I was like I felt bad even walking with crutches. Like I would like I said, I would forget them at the house when I would go to leave. I'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot them. Like this was something that was engraved in me. Like I needed them and I was actually scared to walk without them because that's what I needed to get around. But now I'm losing the weight, I'm getting stronger, better on my feet. Something's happening energetically within me. Like I don't even want to walk with them anymore. They don't even feel right, right? And I remember like I think I walked to Walmart or something for the first time without my crutches, and I was like, man, this is like great. Like this is because I'm a like
Dude,
you
that's
know
so awesome.
yeah, man. And yeah, just like I just stopped using them in public. Like I didn't need them anymore. I just wanted to walk without them if I were to walk. And yeah, I mean, of course, like like if I'm going to like somewhere like large, like at the time, like I would go to like with family with amusement parks or um like to the mall or something. A lot of people like they'll bring the wheelchair and I'll be in the wheelchair just so it's easier. But like whenever I would go to like walk myself, like I remember like I would carry my guitar case and I would be able to do that while walking without. And yeah, just such that that's like the greatest blessing to have this information. And there's just so much more. I mean, that I've healed and things that I forgot that I did overcome. Like I can't even believe that I was like that at one point. I'm like, I can't believe that's how I lived and that's how I felt and that's how I thought about the world. And that's what I was able to like all the things I wasn't able to do. Now I'm able to do that. And it's only gonna get better from here.
Bro, that's powerful. I mean, MM does there's just something about it, like, you start healing in your perspective, like on life and everything that you once knew just changes drastically like once you start healing.
Absolutely.
Man, dude, I'm so happy to hear that. That is just so awesome. So, what does it look like for you in terms of like future? What are some of the things that you're hoping heals, or like what are some of your key things that you're trying to target right now, I guess would be a better word.
So what I envisioned for myself for the
Mhm.
future, I I really just I would love to like go to the gym or just build muscle. I feel like that's something that would help me so much. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with like being skinny or anything, but in my case, building muscle, retraining my body, right? Because I know how to fuel my muscles, I know how to fuel my body and connect to it.
Mhm.
Now just physically doing the work where I move in a certain way and I use them, and whether that's going to the gym or just like going for walks, which I still do. Um, it just to build that muscle, right? So I'm able to garden, lift up the soil bags, right? So I'm able to run one day, you know,
Yeah.
be able to run. I mean, it's yeah, I would love to see that, right? Love to see that. It's definitely like it needs to happen because definitely make my life a lot easier. Or just
Bro,
living around.
I'm rooting for you, man. Like I mean, and you're not even like you're not even asking for anything crazy, you know? Like you're just asking like simple things in life, you know?
Yeah,
So, dude, I hope that happens, bro. I know it's gonna happen, dude. Like with your dedication, everything that you have been doing, bro, and just keep sticking with the protocols. Like I can't wait to see what the future has in store with you.
yeah, that means a lot, man. Right to the heart. And yeah, it means a lot. And like you said, it's just the simple things, like to be able to. I've never ran before. I've never even jumped before in my life. Like I don't know what it's like to drive. I can't drive. Uh, I don't know what it's like to have like that freedom.
Yeah.
Just like the simple things, like carrying stuff. Heck, I would love to. I would love to. Like if I was fully able, I would 100% be like working. Like I would have a job. Like I would want to do that. Like I would love to work at the farmers market and just like work in the nursery and like work with the trees and lifting up stuff and having like just having a truck or something and like lifting up the stuff and putting in the truck. Like that's such like I wish I could do that. It's like such a like man, such a
Yeah.
blessing to be able to do that. You know.
Bro, yeah, no, I hear you. I Gosh, brother. Like I hope that happens. Like I'm rooting for you, like I said. I know everyone who listens to this is gonna be rooting for you, bro.
Uh,
Yeah.
like I wouldn't be here without Anthony and SOC and God,
Oh, speaking of
angels.
Anthony and SOC, you want to get into Brainsaver?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, everyone. So as always, we get into the chapter in the second half of the podcast. So today we're going to be doing chapter 12, which was the chapter on alcohol. We have not done chapter 11 yet. I just want to be clear, which was the chapter on microdosing. Uh, we just decided to do this chapter because Christian felt like it was he had more stuff to say on this point on this idea. So we decided to do this one, and it doesn't rely on chapter 11 at all. So I'll do chapter 11 another podcast episode. But yeah, so chapter 12, like I said, it's on alcohol, and if you've read anything on Brainsaver or know anything about medical medium, like the whole idea of like moderation or anything like that or balance is, I hate to say it, but for lack of a better term, it's just garbage. And so, like, just the same thing with our alcohol here. Like, I mean, any amount of alcohol that you're getting into yourself is just, it's poisoning. And just to hear that from him and that reassurance, like, it's not good, and it's never doing anything for you, and just a little bit of amount, it's really powerful, and this chapter in itself is so powerful. So, Christian, do you wanna start it off with anything that you found interesting from this chapter?
Yeah, yeah, and I just want to say like, yeah, it's just mind blowing. First of all, like, just alcohol and what it does to the body,
Yeah.
um, and just like I don't want to like shame anybody who does and
Mhm.
they're trying to transition, right? It's okay if like if it's kind of hard to get off of it, because I mean I have family that you know are alcoholics and
Same,
yeah,
same.
I mean who doesn't? I mean a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't use that word alcoholic, but I mean people drinking wine, cooking, drinking
Mhm,
wine,
mhm.
it's like one of their vices, and that's okay. That's okay because it's like the world's so hard, and but yeah, it's shocking to find out the truth of what it's actually doing and why it is a vice and why you get that relief that you do when you do drink.
But can
And
we hit on the idea too before you continue? It's
yeah,
just like, so we use like the term like alcoholics, right?
yeah,
And like so many people talk about how like, oh, they must like it's some gene in the brain or something's wrong in the like, for them to be alcoholics, like they have like some gene or like that, that's what's wrong with them instead of like the real problem of like what's going on here when you drink alcohol. And like I just like it irks me so much when people just say like, "Oh yeah, like it just the gene like runs in our family," and like because it's obviously not. You know what I mean? Like it's not a gene. Like after reading medical medium information, and
yeah,
like just like something that's just so mind blowing. Like when you drink alcohol, medical medium talks about how like when you start to get drunk and stuff like that, being intoxicated causes like an adrenaline rush that, like, makes it so, like, you want to keep doing it as well, because, like, you're on the verge of dying, right? Like, your brain's not getting enough glucose, and just hearing that, like, understanding, like, okay, this is actually what is going on. It's not like a gene. Like, first of all, like, that's, like, really hopeful because it's not like, you're not broken, there's nothing wrong with you, but it also gives you, like, a way to be able to fix it and actually understand what's going on.
yeah. There's an answer of what's actually happening physically, the
Yeah,
physical components of what alcohol is,
yeah.
and why you feel this way when you drink it, and what is actually happening. So yeah, it's really mind blowing. So um, yeah, like you said, the adrenaline factor, right?
Mhm.
The reason you feel adrenaline from it, and why you keep wanting more to drink more and more is because the methyl sugar,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
methyl sugar. So, according to Info, right? That's what fuels our brain is sugar. That's what our brain's made out of. It's a very gelatinous. It's kind of like a gummy, like sugary candy. Like
Yeah, gummy
that's what the
bear.
brain is. A gummy bear, exactly.
Yeah.
So the moment like our brain has no sugar, like it's not getting sugar or glucose, it starts to die, right? Within like I think like 5 seconds.
Mhm.
So the thing with alcohol, it has sugar, right? And it tricks the brain because the sugar that it has, it's a methyl sugar, meaning that it 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 like dupes the brain, right? The brain thinks it's gonna get sugar, but it's methyl. So the brain it can't use it. Neither can the liver use it. It cannot use it
Yeah.
because it's not in the right form, right? Alcohol is like fermented, right? Fermented sugar. It's not good. But the body doesn't know that and it just does the best it can with what it's given. And because of the lack of sugar's not there, your adrenaline pumps in. And the methyl sugar actually becomes poison because it's not, what the brain needs. So just, it gives you an adrenaline high. That's why it's like, oh man, I want another drink.
Yeah.
And then the reason why you get tipsy and you start to experience the symptoms, which associates alcoholism, is that's the effects of the brain without sugar, right? So explains like why alcohol that's higher percentage gets somebody drunk faster because there's more alcohol. It means less sugar, right?
Yeah.
So it's uh it's really freeing to know that it's not your genes. You're not faulty. It's not just who you are. Oh, you're an alcoholic. Oh, you can't change your life around. It's just how it is. No, you can change your life around if you know what's actually happening, and you can you can change your life around by just eating more fruit. If you're an alcoholic, Anthony talks about what kind of alcohol is it? Is it if you drink vodka, like you gotta eat lots of steamed potatoes, right? If you're addicted to wine, you do the wine, right? Do the red wine. Or yeah, do the grapes. My bad. Yeah, if you do red wine, do the grapes, red grapes. But yeah, little steps because it is hard.
There is
Yeah,
something too that I wanted to. I just figured I'd ask, see if you
yeah,
knew or if anyone was listening and wanted to message me on the MM breakdown, they can let me know too. So, like, for example, you drink alcohol, right? Your liver, which has the glucose, won't send that up to your brain because it's there trying to soak up all the alcohol. And once you get to the point when you're feeling tipsy, your liver is at the point of basically like at its tipping point in terms of like soaking in all the alcohol. So it can't really do its job of sending the glucose to the brain anymore, and so it's there soaking up the alcohol, right? And so my thing is medical medium was saying, so like if your brain ultimately functions at like 100% glucose, like getting to the brain, right? You said if you're drunk, you're drinking, like your brain is functioning on like 5 to 10% of the glucose, of 5 to 10% instead of 100%, right? Of what you need optimally. So that glucose that is getting to the brain, that 5 to 10%, is that because of glucose that is already in the bloodstream? Like when you start drinking, and because it's already in the bloodstream, it's going to get to the brain at some point. It's just not going to get there as fast or as much as you need. Or is that glucose that is still kind of getting to the brain, that 5 to 10%? Is that coming from the methyl sugar?
it's coming from what's in the bloodstream from other foods.
Okay, it's coming from the bloodstream
Yeah,
only. Okay, okay, that's what I wanted to
bloodstream.
clarify. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, or if you already have if somebody has a high glycogen reserve in their
In the
brain
brain.
or in the liver, yeah, that's why like some people can handle it better as well. Um,
That makes sense. Yeah, I was so okay. The methyl sugar at no point like that cannot be used at glucose, like not even like the smallest percentage, correct? I just
yep.
wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
that's what
it's
I
the
was
it's the
thinking, but I was
ghost.
also
It's
okay,
it's a
okay,
ghost of
yeah, yeah,
sugar. Yeah,
yeah. Okay,
yeah,
yeah, no. I was just like I had that question. I was like, man, I hope he knows because like this is kind of throwing me in for a loop right now.
yeah, yeah. I know. I've read that chapter a few times. Just because I have family that struggle with it,
Mhm.
and it's like I want to know. It's good to help people. A lot of other people struggle with it. So,
You know
um,
what's so wild too that he says? He says that like the intoxication part, like the part where you get like the symptoms that don't feel really good, like the vomiting or the sickness or like the dizziness, like that's actually because alcohol's poisonous, right?
mhm,
But then like the other symptoms of like, slurred speech and loss of function and stuff like that, like motor function and not being able to talk as well and stuff like that, that's because of the glucose not getting to the brain.
yeah,
But like if glucose didn't get like if the glucose was getting to the brain and that was not the issue and we were just getting alcohol poisoning,
yep,
like drinking would suck.
yeah,
Like it would not be like
yeah. If you if
fun.
you if you yeah if you like if you weren't getting the adrenaline rush,
Mhm.
right?
True.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why you also feel like, shit, because, you had all the adrenaline. Your liver, you took up all the adrenaline, all the alcohol, and now it's like, "Oh, shit, now I'm hungover. Let me eat some eggs and hash browns,"
Yeah.
Let me go to Taco Bell real quick.
Yeah.
Get a Taco Bell breakfast, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Dude, the other thing, like, have you heard that saying though of what people say, like, when they are drunk and then, like, the next day they wake up and they have a hangover and they're just like,
yeah,
"Yeah, you just gotta drink a little bit more to help the hangover kinda, like, fade away." Like, because like, medical medium mentions that and says how that's, like, the worst idea, like, ever
yeah,
to do,
yeah,
and, like, I remember people that I knew would say that all the time. Family members would say that all the time, and it's just like, what are you talking about? That's the worst thing possible.
yeah. It just shows like people have no idea what they're talking about. They're lost. They have no idea.
Yeah.
Most people don't know, and it's like it goes back to like if you do struggle with alcohol, they say it's your genes, right?
Mhm.
It's just and like if you tell them, oh, you just need to eat, if you were to eat more sugar, like from fruits and potatoes, you wouldn't be affected as much. Heck, you wouldn't even crave alcohol in the first place because people that already have deficiencies are more tend to be drawn to alcohol because adrenaline addiction.
Bro, goes hand in hand together.
Yeah, I mean, my family members like they won't eat, and Anthony also talks about this. People that drink like they don't really eat that much. It's always on adrenaline. But yeah, like back to the alcohol poisoning part. Um, just like yeah, just the effects of like um, the methyl sugar and just um, like the liver soaking up all that, and it also pickles the liver too, which is why like they associate alcoholism with liver poisoning, right?
Mm,
Like cirrhosis, because that liver is like that ultimate protector, taking all the hits and um, yeah, yeah, and then like while people are just poisoning themselves, right, and just stuck in that vicious system. Anthony also talks about the spiritual aspect, which blew my mind. And there's a couple there's one radio show and there's a podcast specifically a podcast specifically for alcoholism,
mhm,
what it does, and then in his old radio show, he has a radio show that talks about addiction, and in the end of that, he talks about how there's a spiritual thing that happens when people are, drinking alcohol and they get, messed up. There's negative psychic energy that feeds off of that. And, and just that's like the energy associated with that and addiction. And Anthony like also says in Brainsaver how somebody reacts when they're drunk is um, dependent on how they are when they're on adrenaline and what emotional things are they holding inside. Because like people, people drink to like numb themselves out to get high, right? Because emotionally they're struggling,
yeah,
and so like that's why you have happy drunks and abusive drunks and just depressing uh, drunks. It's like it all depends on the person.
do you think that that spiritual aspect too, like these negative entities, right, are also having an influence
Yeah,
though on how that adrenaline is
absolutely.
affecting you as well, correct?
Absolutely. Me personally, I've had psychic attacks from it where I'm doing MM, I'm the light, right?
Yeah,
I'm a threat to the
yeah,
darkness. So I've experienced firsthand psychic attacks and negative energy, demonic spirits from alcohol, negative energies,
yeah,
uh, you know, attack me and try to like, it's like little picks, like just like trying to pick at whatever that I'm doing and just kind of like it reminds me of like a mosquito. Just freaking like just get away, like you know.
Yeah, there was like I've experienced that too. I can't remember about alcoholism because when I did drink for a little bit, like it was before MM, and so I can't really recall too much in terms of that. But like when I got to like the lowest of my low, and I finally like turned the corner and just said like MM all the way. Uh, there like I was smoking a lot, and I was like really sick, especially like mentally, like just I was probably going through like some psychosis. But like I was like mentally aware of everything, like my surroundings and stuff, but in my mind, like my thoughts and just like how my mind was processing and thinking was just not okay. You know what I mean? And I felt like, and I was just aware like this is not okay, but like I had no control over it. Like my mind was just literally going crazy just from the thoughts and everything like that. And I felt like in that time it's possible. Like I really don't know, but like a negative entity and like psychic attacks and stuff like that was definitely for sure a possibility. And I just remember like, especially when I was at like the lowest of my low, there was like a week or two straight where like I was just having nightmare after nightmare after nightmare after nightmare. And I know medical medium talks about how like they're healing, like if you have a nightmare or like things like that, like it can be healing. But I don't know, some of these, bro, was like these demons and stuff like attacking me, coming into my room, and like whenever I'd go to bed, like I felt like I could just see them like outside my door. I don't know if that was like the case or if I was just making it up or if it's a combination of both, but like I do believe that on some level, like these negative entities and psychic attacks are definitely for sure like are
Oh,
going on. And I feel like metals, I remember Tex too made a post about this too,
oh
like
yeah,
how like metals, like it seems like metals seem to be able to play a role in that area. I mean, we can't
for
really say
sure.
unless medical medium says something on
Yeah.
it, but it
Well,
just seems
I
like
could,
it.
yeah, yeah. There's one thing I want to say that I've thought about recently about so in the potato podcast, which well, I mean, who doesn't love potatoes in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
Um, at the end, he says how potatoes help us connect to an angelic resonance, right?
Mhm.
So what helps us connect to an angelic resonance? The trace minerals. And he mentions this in Brainsaver in another chapter, how the trace minerals from the earth help us connect more to God, to the angels, to the heavenly beings, and how trace minerals are the opposite of toxic heavy metals, right?
Mhm.
It's how we're meant to function and connect with God and the angels. And we're meant to be, you know, like heck, we're supposed to have like telepathic psychic abilities, right?
Yeah.
Like we're supposed to be, like we're metaphysical. Like in our soul, we're metaphysical beings. So like toxic heavy metals, they limit that. It's a complete opposite. And if trace minerals help us connect to an angelic resonance, help us connect to the angels and see the light and change our perspective, then what do toxic heavy metals connect us to?
The opposite, bro. It has to, right?
So yes, if we're loaded with toxic heavy metals, it becomes a doorway for negative entities and darkness to use us and mess up whatever is around us. That's why, Anthony says toxic heavy metals rule the roost, right? And they just mess up everything. They're, not grounded, right? They're complete
Yeah.
opposite. They're just rogue, toxic, uh, just negative, like just charged, right? Just like just toxic things that it for sure, allows the negative entities and stuff to mess with us.
Gosh, yeah, no, it's such a real thing. I mean, until this conversation that we had, like I never really like looked back and paid attention on it. I think it just scared me so much that like I don't even like thinking about it because I don't even want to invite that energy in any type of way at all. So I just like don't even like to think about it. But like no, I think that like what you're saying makes complete sense, especially on the just the minute level going on in the brain with the toxic heavy metals and the trace minerals. You got goodness and darkness, and I know he talks about that in Brainsaver. So, I mean, it's wild to think about.
Yeah, but I mean, it also makes like Anthony says, right? Nothing can overpower our soul, right? We still have a consciousness, we still have a soul. So, like, it explains why you were still having those thoughts. You knew they weren't right, but you were getting these crazy thoughts, crazy things, because that's the metals. That's not you. They were trying to get to you. You're still good. If you have toxic heavy metals, there's it's not you. It's not who you are, right? God wants us
Yeah.
to be. God wants us to get it out. That's why we got the HMDS. God wants you to heal, to be full of trace minerals, so so you don't have to suffer with those thoughts. Like you are not dark if you're struggling with, heck, we're all exposed, but we have the tools to, you know, to heal, get strong, and adapt.
Gosh, so okay, so with the
Yeah,
alcohol though,
yeah.
so that is bringing in that kind of negative energy. Do you think it's because like we're in the state of like our brain is pretty much dying, and so like, and because we're not functioning, like we're not able to get the glucose or anything like that, we're getting hit with the adrenaline and everything. That is just opening up the door right there, like that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, because we're weak, right? We're weak. We're not strong. We're not empowered when we don't know, and we're just, when somebody's just trashing themselves with alcohol, but not even like if it's on a like, but there's also like a spectrum too. Like maybe you just drink every once in a while, like you drink at nighttime every night. And it's like you get a little bit tipsy, right? But like we're talking about like I'm talking about like alcoholism.
Yeah.
Somebody's really struggling with it, right? Not somebody that just drinks, you know, for a good time kind of thing. Um,
I mean, but you would think that they still have to be, even if you're drinking for a good time, you're still opening yourself up to that, correct?
oh, for sure. I mean, heck, people get exposure. You get exposed with like gasoline and fabric softeners, and your mood changes. You feel like shit. You're like, ah, man,
Yeah,
right? Your energy just
yeah,
drops, right?
yeah.
We're exposed everywhere.
And I mean, this is definitely, and I think something that we should stress too here with the alcohol is just like, especially if you're someone who still drinks it or, doesn't plan to stop or, still have that in their life, like the key thing that medical medium does say, and you mentioned it a little bit too, it's just like if you are going to drink, you know what, make sure that day of or before, like you are having a bunch of glucose in your system and you're lowering the fats because you don't want the fats to stop the glucose from being able to get into the cells and to your brain like you need it to. And so yeah, like making sure you're having a bunch of glucose like that is going to allow you to recover quicker and also not have all the side effects from like the alcohol poisoning and everything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great point. Build up the brain so your brain can take it.
Oh, exactly. Maybe at some point you won't even want to take it no
Yeah,
more.
this is not alcohol. Non-alcoholic.
Dude, that
This is my wine right here.
oh, bro, I love it. I love it. Do you have anything else to say? I honestly think that was perfect the way to end that chapter with you drinking that wild blueberries. But do you have anything else to say?
That's perfect.
All right, man. Before we close this sucker off, do you want to say anything else to the people? Really, are you good?
Yeah, I want to say, wherever you are in your healing journey, if you're trying to heal or you're just trying to improve your life in any way, and you feel like you're struggling and you're in a storm, know that it will pass. It always passes. I've been in many storms and I've gotten through it. And we have the medical medium information our whole lives, and it's there for us. It's proof that God knows what we're going through, and the angels know what we're going through. And it's proof that we are looked out for, and we will heal. And right. All storms pass. You'll get through it, and you'll rise above. You'll rise out of the ashes with whatever you're going through, and just know that God's got our back, and this information is, yeah, is the key.
It is the key. Oh, I love it. Thank you so much, Christian. That's going to be powerful. I know so many people are going to resonate with so much that you said. You brought so much information too. You can really tell that you have studied your medical medium stuff, man. I am so grateful that you even wanted to come on and tell a little bit about your story. Like I said, guys, his Instagram is Healing with Christian.
Heal with Christian. Yeah.
Oh, Heal with Christian.
Yeah.
There we go. And be on the like I would follow him too there too because at some point he's gonna be putting out some music. He has to be, like I said,
See the guitar right there.
yeah, you
Yeah.
see the guitar, we talked about his singing. So at some point he's gonna put something out there and you guys do not want to miss it because he is that good.
Oh,
Um so yeah, once again, Christian, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And with that, the MM Breakdown is out.